And we have to grieve when we see other people going through real trauma if we can't help them and if we're not supposed to. That can be a hard one. So I find that I send prayers, distant prayers, to and for people that are not in my life who I still care for. Just a little distant tickle, I love you kind of thing every now and then. And the way that I do it is to say the Ho'oponopono prayer. Now, if you haven't heard us talk about that, very quickly, that is, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. That melts stuff away. It is an old kahuna prayer from Hawaii. The story of how that came out was a psychiatrist at a prison found that prayer and started saying it over these severely mentally ill prisoners that he dealt with. The story goes that as he looked at their charts and said that some of them got better. Is that true? I don't know. But I find that that prayer changes energy. It gets me out of emotion into detached agape, at least until I start doing something else ridiculous. But
It really,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah. There is a strong energy with the whole Ho'oponopono prayer. It changes. It takes you out of time and place in a way, and it's highly recommended. You've talked about it before. You know, you're in a traffic jam, and you instead of giving the guy the finger, you say the prayer.
Yeah. And you never know. They might be having the worst day of their life. And I'll say it again for y'all. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And even now, as I say that, I feel a calm. Why not say it for yourself? Why not say to myself, you know, little Zoli, that little bitty thing that when I met my inner child, she put her hands on her hips and kicked me in the knee and said, you don't listen to me. Why don't I say that to you? Why don't I say that to the situations that I don't know if done a good job in, or that people I see who might need a little energy field? You aren't taking on their karma, and you can't do that anyway, by the way, but you're not taking on their problems. You're giving them a little light in the darkness. And for some reason, for me, that seems to work.
And what an incredible thing to imagine if everybody even just tried to send that type of energy more than the opposite aggressive negative energy we so often find.
Yeah, and that's fear. It's always fear. The opposite of love is fear, not hate. You know, hate, and we've spoken of this before, love has no beginning and no end. You can't have enough. You can't do that cup cannot be filled. But hate has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we all do it at times. Oh, for God's sake, be real. We're just people. You don't have to be a super people. You just have to be yourself. And the more we can do that, the more honest we can become with ourselves. That's my goal. That's my aspiration to say, I'm going to put forth my best effort and think about what I say before I say it. If I could always do that, I'm sure everybody around me would have a much better day.
That's very true. And if we're all simply working on ways to find calm, then more calm and more of that energy will exist.
I believe so because love attracts more to it. And I read this in one of Benjamin Crimm's works, and which just blew me away. Now I've read those Maitreya's missions over the past 25 years. I probably read each book close to 10 times, but I'll just close my eyes, ask for prayer, and I'll open to a page and go, I've read this 1,000 times. I even have it marked, but I never saw that sentence. He said the reason that service work is important, and Maitreya addresses all, you don't need any of the isms. Buddhism, Christianism, Judaism, all the New Age-ism. You don't need those to get where you want to go. They're tools and they're wonderful. But he said, all you need to do is be honest with what you're thinking and say that sincerely and detach from the outcome. Now, that doesn't mean to say mean stuff, think, well, I'm just being honest. It's not being honest. But to meditate, pray, and serve. Meditate and pray, that's kind of what you do by yourself or silently with others. But the service, when we're doing service work, and let me add, it should be a service work that's appropriate with your soul mission, what you came here to do. If you hate fishing and there's a 501c3 that takes veterans fishing, don't do it because you'll be a big fat martyr. Probably get a bunch of hooks stuck in your hair and all that stuff anyway. But find what, say, lead me to a proper service. When we are doing that and we are serving, you get energy poured into your crown chakra from higher power. That's what I feel when we do these shows. No matter what kind of Zoli mood I might be in, when we're doing this show right now and when it's done, I am filled with just positive, oh my God, I feel so good. Because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that for me. So when you get that feeling, when you've maybe taken something to the food bank or you've done this or that, and that's in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, you will feel that surge. Think of the image, the receptivity. Think of the hand going out to give and the hand coming towards and accepting. There's so much humility, it almost brings me to tears. And there have been times in my life where I needed help when I was running my farm. At times I went to the food bank. Am I going to fix this fence or am I going to eat? Well, let me go to the food bank in Tenino. Well, wait a minute. I don't have enough gas to get up to Tenino, but I could go the opposite direction for a mile. So I'm digging into under the seats of my old Subaru looking for quarters. That's back when the tank of gas was what, 80 cents? I don't know. So you have to make decisions, but I needed help. But what did it do? My creativity was bursting. So when you are giving to others in a way that is appropriate for your soul work, you'll know it and you'll feel both enlivened and calm.
That's really powerful, and people often miss those signals of where that work is for them in their lives.
Well, I certainly had. I mean, it takes a while. It really does take a while. My service and my work has been writing, music, and art, those three things together, the triplets. And the years that I wasn't doing those, I wasn't a happy person. I spent 2 years drinking Chardonnay, smoking weed, and Gitan cigarettes back at the lake in Alabama. That was my what the hell year. I was dumb. I didn't know. But I wasn't doing anything for me or for the world, or I wasn't doing, I was just running in circles. And don't tell me that y'all haven't had periods like that. I don't mean with the drinking Chardonnay and smoking cigarette thing, but that there are times in your life you're going, I'm spinning my wheels. What is going on? We all have that. And usually that's at the end of a cycle. That's at the end of spirit saying, we are holding you up and we have extra care for you. But please, would you please ask us for help? And then you have to do some hard stuff. Maybe it's a karmic situation that you have to kick in and take a hold of yourself and do the adulting, capital A, and quit doing the partying, the verb or the noun. I don't know. But it's part of life, y'all. There's probably nothing that you've done that other people haven't. I certainly know that of mine. I've got hysterical stories about that are all true. But you spin your wheels when you don't know. And then when you start finding a path of service, and I don't mean 24 hours a day, go work for the Red Cross, give up your house, go live in, the Dom Rep. I don't mean that. It's something that is tiny. It's a tiny little voice in the back that says, I was a teacher for 40 years. And you might say, I'm really good at being with kids. I'm going to go see if they need a tutor at this place. Or I'm going to go do that. And you'll feel if it's right or not. You'll feel it. But that's peace of mind. And that is one way to calm our nervous system.